Now, Spotify is one of the best music streaming platforms out there, if not the best, all right? And today's video is actually quite related to Spotify.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
If you are new to the channel, my name is Christopher. I'm a graphic designer and a 3D artist. And I'll consider today's tutorial to be one of the easiest tutorials I've created on the channel so far. I might even consider it to be the easiest, actually. All right. Now, today we are creating the Spotify logo in 3D. Yeah, you heard me right. We are creating the Spotify logo in 3D. And don't worry if you have little to no skills in 3D modeling or in Blender or any 3D suite at all. This video is going to be so simple that even your 90-year-old grandma can create it with their eyes closed.
NANI?
Yes, with the eyes closed. All right, so don't worry about having skills in 3D modeling or in Blender. This video is for you if you are someone like that, and then it is also for you if you are a beginner in Blender or in 3D modeling. All right.
Nice.
Now, before we jump into the video, I'd really appreciate if you guys can, click on the subscribe button and like the video as well, and click on the bell notification icon as well, so that you'll be notified whenever I upload a new tutorial in the near future. So without further ado, let's just jump right into the video. All right, so let's get started by adding a reference image. So that will be Shift A, image, and then reference image. So from there you can find wherever your reference image is located, and then you can import it. All right. Now let's add a plane with Shift A. All right. Tap to go into the edit mode. Sorry, tap to go into the edit mode, and then after that, Control R to create a loop cut. All right, to add a loop cut to the plane, and then delete one half of the plane. All right, delete one half of the plane. Now you can continue to extrude the edges of the plane to form the signal symbols on the Spotify logo. All right, so you can extrude it to the right side. All right, extrude it, and then you can also move the vertices as well, just so you can get that rounded shape, or to get the shape that you want, just so that after you add the subdivision modifier will be smoother. All right. Now give the plane a subdivision modifier. All right, and then now the main purpose of adding the subdivision modifier is just so that the plane would have this smooth edge, so that it can be rounded in order to form the curvature around the signal sign. Okay, so after that, you can also continue to fine-tune the plane using the vertices or the edges, so that it can better fit the signal symbol. All right. So now we want to give the plane a solidify and bevel modifier. So go to the properties tab, and then give it a solidify modifier, and then add a bevel modifier as well. All right, so you can also increase, you should also know that you can increase the height of the solidify modifier to however you want it to be, but I think right about here is okay for me. Okay, you can also play around with it, just move it up or down just a little, and then you can also play around with what do you call it, the bevel as well. And then after the bevel too, you are supposed to give it a a subdivision modifier as well. So the subdivision modifier is going to give it that smoothness around it, okay? And the bevel is going to also make sure that the edges are also really smooth for us, okay? Now you can select the signal symbol and then shift D to duplicate it and then bring it down. All right, bring it down on the y-axis, and then from there you can rotate it or scale it down however necessary so that you can make it fit into the second signal symbol down there. All right, you might have to adjust the rotations and move a couple of vertices and some other things to make it fit. All right. Okay. All right, so I'm going to scale it down, all right, about here, and then move it down a little bit. Okay, move it to the left also, just making sure that it fits quite nice and quite properly. Okay. All right, it's a bit of scale, and then shift D, bring it to the last one, then scale it down, bring it to the left just a little bit. Okay, rotate. Okay. Okay, all right. So I think this is okay for me. I'm okay with this. I'm cool. Everything looks nice. Now let's add a circle, right? Shift A, select a circle, and then you can scale it up to fit the size of the Spotify logo or the circle in the Spotify logo, right? You can also adjust its position so that it can better fit, the position of the reference image that we are using. Okay, and also after that, after positioning it, we are also going to give it a subdivision modifier, because as you can see, the bevel, the edges of the circle are quite jaggy, so we need to give it a subdivision modifier to make it smooth and round. Okay, then tap to go into the edit mode. All right, if there is no face for the circle, tap to go into the edit mode and then select all the vertices using A and then press F to fill it. Then you have the face. After that, you can tap to come back into the object mode, give it a solidifier modifier and a bevel modifier. Okay, so with the bevel modifier, you can increase the amount a little bit just so you can get that smooth, edge around it like you saw in the thumbnail design. Okay, and then after that, you can also play around with the solidifier modifier as well. You can play around with the thickness to however that you want it to be. Okay, and then you can also yeah. All right, so now let's come to the signals. Okay, the signal symbols. Okay, so as you can see, the height of the signal symbols are not quite equal, and then we need to make sure that they are all equal. Okay, so over here I'm just going to move them up a little bit, and then I'm going to increase their thickness as well in the solidifier modifier, just so that they will all be of the same height. Okay, because we don't want them to be of different heights. That wouldn't look really nice, would it? All right, so I'm going to select them, and then I'm going to play around, or I'm going to so I'm going to work on the thickness in the solidifier modifier just so that I can get an equal height for all of them. All right, yeah. And so to the last one too. Nope, not that. The front, and then I'm going to move the thickness up as well, increase it a little bit. I think this is okay. And then now to the last one, go to the front, and then I'm going to increase the thickness as well. Right about here is okay. All right, I think this is okay. This is enough for me. This is very fine. So select all of them, and then I'm going to bring them all down to sit on the Spotify logo. Okay, so here we are. So around here you can decide to delete the reference image, because I think we are done with it, so you can delete it. And after that, we are going to add an empty, and the empty is going to be a cube. Okay, so the main purpose of the empty is that we need to parent all of the objects in there to something. Okay, so that is where the empty comes into play. So you can bring the empty down, and then you can scale it up, on the X or the Z axis, just so that you can make it kind of wrap around the object, so that After that, we are going to parent the Spotify logo and its signals to the empty, so that whenever we want to move all the objects in the scene, we can just move the empty and then it's going to affect all of them all together. You get it? Okay, so after that, we are going to select all of them and then shift select the empty, the last, and then press Ctrl P on the keyboard and then choose parent objects. All right, and then objects transform, rather object transform. Then from here we are going to position it. Okay, so as you can see, when I move the empty, it affects all of them. So I'm just positioning the objects right now for our lighting. Okay, so I think somewhere around here is okay for me. Something like this is fine. Okay, yeah. Now let's add our lights. Okay, sorry, now let's add our camera. Okay, and then as usual, since I try to keep my tutorials as easy as possible, so we are just going to have the camera look straight at the symbol or the logo. Right, so you can see at the outliner that I have changed it to the 3D viewport, and then in there I can see what is going on in the camera view. And then right now I'm just changing the resolution as well in the output properties. Okay, so I'm just going to position the camera just around here. Okay, something like this is okay for me. Let's position it. Let's see. Okay, so I think I need to move it a little. Yeah, it's not really centered. Yeah, bring it up a little, bring it down rather. Okay, yeah, focal length. Okay. Okay, now we are going to start lighting up our scene. Okay, we are going to start lighting up our scene. And so I just created a new tab from the upper right corner. Just click and drag and then you can open a new tab. And then from the new tab, you can click on this arrow and then change it to the shader editor. Okay, yeah. So now that we have the shader editor, we are just going to light up our scene. Then from there, we are going to move into shading. So over here, I'm going to change this to the render output or the render scene, just so that I can see what is going on up here at the right corner. Okay, so it means that I'll be able to focus on what exactly I'm doing or how I'm going to position the lighting in the left scene. Okay, yeah. So Z, and then you can select rendered. All right, so I'm using cycles, by the way. So you can also try to use EV though, but then I'm using cycles. So I just added a new light with Shift A, scale it up. Okay, and then you can bring it up as well, just so to be facing the logo from the top. And then you can increase the power of the light. Make sure it's an area light. Okay, or if you want to use a point light too, that's okay. Point or spot, anyone that works for you, but I'm using the area light. Okay, and then I'm keeping the power at 500 watts. Okay, 500 watts. Okay, then I think I'll be playing around with the power for some time, just so I can get that perfect lighting that I'm looking for. Okay, and after that I'm going to Shift D, rotate it to face the bottom of the logo like so. Okay, and now from there I am also going to select the light. Okay, and then Shift D, bring it to the left side. Okay, that's the x-axis, and then I'm going to rotate it a little bit, and then just so it to be facing the other side of the logo. Okay, so basically this is a simple lighting technique. Just that's the 3-point light technique. All right, it's one of the easiest. Okay, but mostly I like to use the spotlights facing one side of the object, just so I can get that rim light coming in. There is another method that I use for creating rim lights in my renders, but in this case I don't think that method would work. I think if in my next videos I'll be showing you that method. I think you have seen it. I used that same method in my previous tutorial on how I modeled toad in Blender. All right, so if you want to check out that tutorial, I'll leave a link up here somewhere around here. You can check it out at the top right. You can check it out and then you can find out that lighting method. All right, basically I just placed a plane behind the whole image and then I gave it an emission light, and then that was it. So you can check out the video and then you'd have a proper look at it. Okay, so basically this is my lighting process on this scene. Okay, and also feel free to pause the video along the way so that you can, if you want to just take a look at some of the lighting, like the lighting properties that I've used, like the power, the way I've placed them and all of that, feel free to pause it and then you can have a closer look at them. So I think this is okay for me for now. This is just okay. This works very fine for me. All right, so I think in a few seconds we'll be moving into the shading tab. Okay, we're moving into the shading tab. Okay, yeah, all right. So now we are going to add our materials. Okay, we are going to add our materials, and over here we are okay. Yeah, so basically, yeah, so I just changed the 3D viewport at the top right corner to the image editor because I want to import the reference image in there as well, so that I can have something, or I can have something to pick a color from. Okay, so as you can see, you can just click on this arrow, the image arrow over there, and then you can click on open, and then you can select your image, and then you can open it right over there. Now get down into the material properties, and then after that you can click on the plus to give your object a new material. Now my materials as usual are always simple. Just click your base color, select it from the reference image like I just did. Okay, then you can play around with the lightness or the darkness, the dark or the whether you want it to be darker or lighter. It all depends on you. But basically right about here, all I did is I just decreased my specular a little bit because I wanted my logo to be a bit shiny, not too metallic, but a bit shiny and look, I didn't want it to be rough. I wanted it to be a bit metallic, a bit shiny, that kind of thing. Okay, and I know that what is in the thumbnail is kind of different, but the thumbnail, the material I used for the thumbnail was, I think, a free material resource pack I got from Ducky 3D. Okay, and it's just, I think, 10 or 30 materials for free, but then there is a paid version as well where you get more than that. So I'll do my best to leave a link to the materials in the description if you want to get. It's just a set of materials. It's really helpful. I've been wanting to get it for quite some time now, but I still haven't for a couple of reasons, but I will. So if you want to get it, you can always get it. I'll leave a link in the description for you as well. All right, so basically what I just did right now is I selected a couple of faces and then I just assigned a material to them. Okay, so you can just select, you can just tap to go into the edit mode and then alt select any of the vertical faces, and then to select the ring around it, and then you can select the material you want and then click on assign, and it's going to assign the materials to them. Okay, so that is basically my method right now. So I just give the base logo or the base object a green material, and then I give the signal symbols a silver material on the top, and then I give the same green material to the body around them. Okay, yeah, so I hope you guys are enjoying this tutorial. Okay, I hope you guys are enjoying it because I feel like this is simple, right? It's simple. Yeah, I know, I know, I know, it's simple, right? Yeah, so you can always leave a comment in the description for me about how you see the tutorial, if it is the easiest I've created so far, because I feel like it's the easiest I've created so far. But I don't know if I'm wrong. You can always correct me. Yeah, okay. And oh, I just wanted to mention that if you do follow along the tutorial and then you are able to create this, and by chance you post this on Instagram or Facebook or anywhere at all, you can always give me a tag. Okay, you can tag me, and then I'll make sure to also share it on my handle as well. Okay, all right. So still on the materials. Okay, yes, the silver material. I just want to get something cool, something nice, something shiny. Shiny. Yeah. Okay. Thing 0.2 roughness. Okay. So I'm previewing this in the EV render engine. Okay. After that, and then we are going to render using the cycles render engine. I feel like, you know, EV looks nice, right? But I feel like cycles looks better. So we'll be rendering using the cycles rendering. So let's move to cycles. Yeah. So this is how it looks in cycles, and then this. So basically, what I just did is I cut or I cropped the image just so that I can see only what is within the frame. That's Control B. So press Control B on your keyboard, and then now you can go into the render properties. You can go down to the film, change the look to high contrast. It really improves the color effects of your object or your scene. Okay, so right now we are basically done with our model. We are done with our project. We are done. I'm simply shading smooth my objects. Okay, yeah. So after that, you can also set your render samples. I think I'll keep mine at somewhere around 100 or maybe 70. Let's say max samples. No, 170. No, let's say 70. 70 is okay for me. Okay, and after that, I think we are done. We are done, right? We are done, right? We are done. Aren't we done? Okay. Uh, yeah. So the lights parts too. Yeah. So you can also play around with the lights parts. I think diffuse. I'll keep my diffuse at 5. My glossy also at 5. There's no transmission in there, is it? Is there? Nah, there isn't. So keep it at 0, and then there is no transparent either. But then I'll keep the total at 10. So yeah, so that is my lighting, and there's nothing more to add actually. I think I'll check the first GI approximation box. Yeah, and then after that, I think I'll also check the, what do you call it, color management, use curves. Okay, yeah, and then the curves too, I'll bring it down just to keep it a bit more contrasty. Yeah, I just want to add a bit more contrast to my scene. And then after that, I think we are officially done with this. We have officially, so click on render and then render image. Okay, so that is it for our tutorial. All right, so I really appreciate you guys following along the tutorial. If you found this helpful, I'd really appreciate if you can like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification icon as well, so that you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video in the near future, which is probably tomorrow or tomorrow next or next week. I don't know. Yeah, so basically, thank you very guys for following along the tutorial. Thank you very much. I am the Artora, and I will see you in my next video.